The sound of my car door closing echoes in the garage as I glance at my watch. It's 5:30 p.m., 2 hours earlier than usual. The company meeting got cancelled, and for the first time in weeks, I have an unexpected free evening. The thought of surprising Emily with dinner and a movie night makes me smile. She's always talking about how we don't spend enough time together anymore. As I step into the house, a rich, savory aroma hits me, the unmistakable scent of freshly baked pizza. My stomach rumbles in anticipation. Emily must have ordered our favorite, pepperoni and extra cheese, knowing I'd be hungry after a long day at work. I chuckle to myself, thinking how perfect the timing is. "Honey, I'm home." I call out, hanging my coat on the rack. There's no immediate response. Odd. Emily usually greets me right away. I stride into the kitchen, expecting to see her setting the table, but the room is empty. The box of pizza sits on the counter, unopened, next to a couple of plates and some napkins. Maybe she's upstairs freshening up. I head towards the staircase, the smell of pizza growing stronger. As I near our bedroom door, I hear muffled voices, a soft giggle followed by a low, masculine murmur. My heart skips a beat. Confusion clouds my mind. Who could she be talking to? My hand hesitates on the doorknob. I take a deep breath, trying to shake off the unease creeping into my chest. Slowly, I push the door open. The scene before me is like a punch to the gut. Emily is on our bed, her naked body tangled with another man's. The man is young, probably in his mid-20s, with the uniform of a pizza delivery guy strewn carelessly on the floor. His tool, the one he should be using to deliver pizzas, is clearly otherwise engaged. What the hell is going on here? I shout, my voice trembling with a mixture of anger and betrayal. Emily's eyes widen in shock, her face flushing red. She scrambles to cover herself with the sheet, but it's too late. The damage is done. "Michael, I can explain," she stammers, her voice barely a whisper. Scrambles to cover herself with pizza guy jumps up, fumbling for his clothes. "I'm sorry, man, I didn't know she was married," he says, his face pale with fear. He grabs his pants and bolts for the door, leaving his shirt behind in his haste. I feel a burning rage coursing through my veins. "Get out of my house!" I roar, pointing towards the exit. He doesn't need to be told twice, and within seconds, he's gone, leaving me alone with Emily. "How could you do this to me, Emily?" I ask, my voice breaking. "After everything we've been through, this is how you repay me?" My voice trembling with tears streaming down her face. "I'm so sorry, Michael. It just happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far." I shake my head, disbelief turning into a cold, hard resolve. "It didn't just happen, Emily. You made a choice. And now, you're going to face the consequences." The silence between us is heavy, filled with the weight of shattered trust. I turn and leave the room, needing to get away from her, from the scene that's forever etched into my memory. Downstairs, the pizza box still sits on the counter, mocking me with its normalcy. I grab it and hurl it into the trash with a frustrated yell. I pour myself a drink, the burn of the whiskey a temporary distraction from the pain. I think about the next steps, about how to handle this betrayal. Revenge isn't just a word, it's a plan forming in my mind, clear and cold. Emily comes downstairs, dressed now, but she looks like a shadow of the woman I once loved. "Michael, please, can we talk?" I hold up my hand, stopping her. "There's nothing to talk about, Emily. You need to pack your things and leave. I'll start the divorce proceedings tomorrow." Her sobs are quiet, defeated. "Michael, I'm so sorry." I look away, unable to bear the sight of her tears. "Just go, Emily. I don't want to see you anymore." She nods, and with a final, heartbreaking glance, she heads upstairs to pack. I finish my drink and pour another, staring into the amber liquid as if it holds the answers I seek. This is just the beginning. Emily's betrayal has set off a chain of events that will change everything. Revenge will be mine, and she will learn what it means to cross me. The next morning dawns cold and grey, a fitting backdrop for the turmoil in my life. Emily's side of the bed is empty, and the house feels eerily quiet. I remind myself that this silence is the beginning of a new chapter, one where I take control of my destiny. I shower quickly and head out. The first stop is my lawyer's office. Jim Collins has been a friend since college, and he's the best divorce attorney in town. As I drive, I replay the previous night's events in my mind, anger simmering just below the surface. Jim greets me with a firm handshake and a look of concern. "Michael, what brings you here so early?" I sit down, feeling the weight of the decision I'm about to make. "I need to file for divorce, Jim. Emily, she cheated on me." Jim's expression hardens. "I'm sorry to hear that, Mike. Let's get started. We'll make sure she doesn't get a penny more than she deserves." We go through the details, and I feel a sense of grim satisfaction as Jim outlines the legal steps. As we wrap up, he offers me a piece of advice. "Michael, don't let this consume you. Focus on what makes you happy, and don't be afraid to lean on your friends." I nod, appreciating his words, but I know revenge is still at the forefront of my mind. I leave his office feeling more determined than ever. Back at the house, I find Emily in the living room, suitcase by her side. Her eyes are red from crying, and she looks up as I enter. "Michael, please, can't we talk about this?" I shake my head. "There's nothing left to say, Emily. You made your choice, and now you have to live with it. I've spoken to Jim. The divorce papers will be ready soon." She sobs quietly, then stands and walks out the door without another word. The house feels emptier without her, but I push the thought aside. I need to stay focused. I decide to call David, my best friend and confidant. We've known each other since high school, and if anyone can help me navigate this mess, it's him. "Hey, Mike." "What's up?" David answers, his voice cheerful. "Dave, I need to talk. Can you come over?" "Sure thing, man. Be there in 20. True to his word, David arrives quickly. He takes one look at my face and knows something's seriously wrong. We sit in the kitchen, and I pour us both a drink. "So, what's going on, Mike?" I recount the events of the previous night, each word making the betrayal feel fresh all over again. David listens intently, his expression a mix of shock and anger. "That's messed up, Mike. I'm so sorry. What are you going to do?" "I'm not sure yet, but I want her to pay for what she's done. Not just with the divorce, I want her to feel the pain she caused me." David nods slowly. "Revenge, who?" "Well, you know I've got your back. Whatever you need, just say the word." As we sit there, plotting, an idea starts to take shape. Emily's betrayal has opened my eyes to a side of her I never knew existed. If she can deceive me so thoroughly, who's to say she hasn't done it before? And who's to say she won't do it again? Dave, I need you to help me dig into her past. I want to know if this is the first time she's cheated, or if there's more to her story. David grins, a mischievous glint in his eye. Consider it done. I'll start making some calls and see what I can find out. Over the next few days, David and I work tirelessly. He taps into his network of contacts, and I begin to piece together a picture of Emily's life that I never knew existed. Old friends, acquaintances, and even some of her family members reveal snippets of information that paint a darker picture of her past. One evening, David calls me with a lead. "Mike, I found something. Remember that business trip Emily took last year to Chicago?" "Yeah, what about it?" "She wasn't alone. She was with a guy named Tom. They checked into the same hotel, same room. The revelation hits me like a sledgehammer." "Are you sure?" "Positive. I got a buddy who works at the hotel. He checked the records for me." The betrayal feels even deeper now. Not only did Emily cheat on me, but she lied about a business trip to do it. The rage I felt before now burns with a white-hot intensity. "Thanks, Dave." This is exactly what I needed to hear. Anytime, Mike. What's the plan now? I take a deep breath, feeling the pieces fall into place. We're going to confront her, but not until I've gathered more evidence. I want to make sure she can't talk her way out of this. In the meantime, I continue with my day-to-day life, going to work and trying to maintain some semblance of normalcy. But every night, David and I dig deeper, uncovering more of Emily's lies. One evening, I receive a call from an unknown number. I hesitate, then answer. Hello? Michael? It's Tom. We need to talk. Tom. The man from Chicago. My grip tightens on the phone. What do you want? We need to meet. There are things you need to know about Emily. The intrigue thickens, and I agree to meet him the next day. The following chapter will bring more answers and more questions as the tangled web of Emily's deceit continues to unravel. As I hang up, I look out the window, feeling a storm brewing both outside and within. Emily's betrayal has set off a chain of events that's far from over. And I won't rest until I've uncovered every last secret. The next day dawns with a sense of foreboding. Meeting Tom feels like stepping into enemy territory, but if he has information on Emily, it's worth the risk. I choose a neutral location, a coffee shop on the outskirts of town where I'm less likely to be recognized. I arrive early, nerves jangling as I sip a coffee. I watch the door, waiting for Tom to appear. When he does, he's exactly as I imagined, tall, dark-haired, with an air of confidence that grates on my nerves. He spots me and makes his way over, a cautious look in his eyes. Michael, he asks, extending a hand. I shake it, noting the firm grip. Tom. Have a seat. He orders a coffee and we sit in awkward silence until his drink arrives. Finally, he speaks. I owe you an apology. I had no idea Emily was married when we got involved. Spare me the details, I say, unable to keep the bitterness from my voice. Why are you here, Tom? He sighs, running a hand through his hair. Emily and we were together for about 6 months. She told me she was single, looking for something new. It wasn't until after we ended things that I found out she was married. I clench my fists under the table. Why did you end things? She cheated on me, too, he says, a sad smile crossing his face. Funny, isn't it? She's got a pattern. I take a deep breath, trying to control the anger rising in my chest. Did she ever mention anyone else? He nods. A few names came up. There was a guy named Mark, someone she met at a conference a couple of years ago. And then there was Jeff, an old college flame who reconnected with her last year. Each name is another nail in the coffin of our marriage. Why are you telling me this now? Because I know what it's like to be deceived by her. And I figured you deserve to know the truth. No one should be left in the dark like that. I study him, trying to gauge his sincerity. Finally, I nod. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate you coming forward. As he leaves, I feel a strange mix of relief and despair. Emily's betrayals run deeper than I imagined, and the more I learn, the more determined I become to expose her. I call David on the way home, updating him on the meeting. This just keeps getting worse, Dave. She's been cheating on me for years, with multiple men. Damn, Mike. That's rough. What's the plan now? We need to find these other guys. If we can get them to testify, we'll have a solid case against her in court. David agrees, and we spend the next few days tracking down Mark and Jeff. It's not easy, but David's connections prove invaluable. We find Mark first, a businessman who's more than willing to share his story. We meet at a bar, where Mark recounts his brief, passionate affair with Emily. She was charming, irresistible, he says, shaking his head. I had no idea she was married. When I found out, I ended things immediately. Next is Jeff, who we track down through social media. He's more hesitant but agrees to meet. His story mirrors the others, Emily weaving a web of lies to ensnare him, only for the truth to come out months later. With their testimonies, I feel we have enough to confront Emily and make sure she pays for her deceit. But there's one more person I need to talk to, Emily's sister, Sarah. She's always been honest and might have insights that the others don't. I call Sarah and ask her to meet me. She agrees, sounding worried. We meet at a park, where she greets me with a hug. Michael, I'm so sorry about everything. I had no idea what Emily was doing. I need your help, Sarah. I need to understand why she did this. Was there something in her past? Something I missed? Sarah looks pained, struggling with her loyalty to her sister and her desire to help me. Emily's always been complicated. She craves attention and excitement. I thought marrying you would change her, but I guess old habits die hard. I nod, grateful for her honesty. Thank you, Sarah. Your support means a lot. With all the pieces in place, I prepare for the final confrontation. I gather the evidence, the testimonies, the hotel records, everything, and plan to present it to Emily in front of our closest friends and family. She needs to be exposed for who she truly is, and I won't rest until justice is served. The evening arrives, and I invite everyone over under the guise of a casual dinner. Emily looks surprised but pleased, thinking we might be reconciling. As everyone settles in, I clear my throat and stand, feeling the weight of the moment. Thank you all for coming, I begin, my voice steady. There's something important I need to share with you all. Emily's smile fades as I lay out the evidence, piece by piece. The room falls silent, shocked gasps filling the space as the truth is revealed. Emily's face turns pale, her eyes wide with horror. Michael, please, she pleads, tears streaming down her face. Let's talk about this privately. No, Emily. We've done enough talking. It's time everyone knows the truth. The room erupts into chaos, friends and family shouting in disbelief. Emily collapses into a chair, sobbing uncontrollably. I feel a strange sense of satisfaction, knowing that her lies have finally been exposed. As the dust settles, I approach her one last time. Pack your things, Emily. I want you out of the house by tomorrow. She nods, broken and defeated. As I walk away, I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. The road ahead won't be easy, but I know I've taken the first step towards reclaiming my life. The aftermath of the confrontation is a whirlwind of emotions and decisions. Emily packs her belongings and leaves the house, her eyes void of the manipulative charm she once wielded so effortlessly. I watch her drive away, a bittersweet sense of finality settling in. David and I celebrate with a few drinks that night, but the victory feels hollow. The truth is out, but the damage is done. As I lie in bed, I wonder if I'll ever fully recover from Emily's betrayal. The next morning, Sarah calls me. Michael, can we meet? There's something important I need to tell you. Her voice is urgent, and curiosity gets the better of me. We meet at a small cafe, and she looks troubled as she sits down. Michael, there's more to Emily's story than you know, she begins, her hands trembling around her coffee cup. It's about our family. There's something you need to understand. I lean in, my interest piqued. What is it, Sarah? She takes a deep breath. Our father was a serial cheater. He hurt our mother deeply, and it scarred Emily in ways I didn't realize until now. She watched our father manipulate and lie his way through relationships, and it twisted her perception of love and trust. The revelation hits me hard. It doesn't excuse her actions, but it explains the underlying pain and confusion that fueled them. Why didn't you tell me this before? Emily made me promise not to. She didn't want you to see her as a victim. She thought she could handle it, but clearly she couldn't. I nod, processing this new layer of complexity. Thank you for telling me, Sarah. It helps to understand, even if it doesn't change what she did. As we part ways, I feel a strange mix of empathy and anger. Emily's actions were driven by a deep-seated trauma, but the betrayal is still fresh and painful. Later that evening, as I'm sifting through the evidence one last time, I notice something odd about one of the hotel records. The dates don't match up with what Tom and the others told me. A nagging suspicion grows in my mind, and I decide to dig deeper. I call David. Dave, can you come over? I think there's something we missed. He arrives quickly, and we go through the records together. It becomes clear that some of the testimonies and hotel logs have been tampered with. Someone orchestrated this entire affair to look worse than it was. Who would go to such lengths to frame Emily? David asks, baffled. Someone with a grudge, I reply, my mind racing. Someone who wanted to destroy her and knew about her past. Suddenly, it clicks. I grab my phone and call Sarah, my voice shaking with realization. Sarah, I need to know something. Did you tell anyone else about your father and Emily's issues? There's a pause, then her voice comes back, hesitant. Yes, I confided in someone a few months ago. Why? Who, Sarah? I demand, the urgency in my voice unmistakable. Tom. I thought he could help her, but I didn't think he would use it against her. The truth crashes down on me. Tom, the seemingly repentant ex-lover, had orchestrated the entire plot to destroy Emily. He used her past against her, manipulated the evidence, and played me like a pawn in his twisted game of revenge. I relay the information to David, who curses under his breath. We need to confront him, Mike. This can't go unpunished. We track Tom down to his apartment. As we approach, I feel a mix of anger and betrayal boiling inside me. This confrontation isn't just about Emily, it's about being used and manipulated by someone I thought was an ally. Tom opens the door, his face showing a flicker of surprise before settling into a smug smile. Michael, David, what a surprise. We know what you did, Tom, I say, my voice cold. You manipulated everything. Why? His smile widens. Because Emily deserved it. She ruined my life, and I wanted to ruin hers. By dragging me into your sick game? I step forward, barely containing my rage. You didn't just hurt her, you hurt me too. You made me part of this. Tom's expression falters for a moment, then he shrugs. Collateral damage, Michael. It's nothing personal. Nothing personal? I echo, disbelief turning into fury. You used her past trauma, fabricated evidence, and lied to me. That's more than personal. David steps in, his voice steady. We're not leaving until you confess, Tom. You'll face the consequences of your actions. Tom's bravado cracks, and he steps back, realizing the gravity of the situation. Fine. I'll confess. But you need to understand, she deserved it. No one deserves what you did, I say, feeling a strange sense of closure as he admits his guilt. You'll pay for this, Tom. I promise you. We leave his apartment, the weight of the truth settling over us. The police handle the rest, and Tom's confession is enough to clear Emily of some of the false charges. The final confrontation with Emily is bittersweet. I tell her about Tom's manipulation, and though she's relieved, the damage to our relationship is irreparable. Michael, I'm so sorry, she says, tears in her eyes. For everything. I know, Emily, I reply, feeling a mix of sadness and finality. But we can't go back. Too much has happened. She nods, understanding. Goodbye, Michael. Goodbye, Emily. As she walks away for the last time, I feel a sense of peace. The truth is out, and though the scars remain, I'm ready to move forward. Emily and I part forever, not just because of her betrayal, but because of the deeper wounds uncovered along the way. David and I stand together, watching her disappear into the distance. Here's to new beginnings, he says, raising an imaginary toast. To new beginnings, I echo, feeling the weight lift off my shoulders. The road ahead is uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, I feel a glimmer of hope. The past is behind me, and the future is mine to shape.